What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today we're doing some Dark Magician Primite test hands. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. If you guys would like to check out the deck profile used in this video, as always, it is down in the description down below. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So Primite is a really cool engine that was just introduced in Rage of the Abyss, and it's such a fun engine to be able to use with all sorts of normal monsters, but I feel like it works best with the Dark Magician, the ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense. This deck is so fun to be able to play to help you get multiple copies of Dark Magician out on your side of the field and help you go in for a game. I also included some really spicy tech cards in this build for you guys. So we're going to really quickly pile shuffle up the deck because we don't want to run the risk of bricking, because you guys know that's dad rule number one, that you gotta pile shuffle the deck or you run the risk of bricking. So now that we got the deck pile shuffle, let's go to give the deck a quick shuffle and see what we can do for our first test hand. This deck is so fun to be able to play. So give the deck a quick shuffle and see what we can do. So we're going to go ahead and draw, and we're going to draw a copy of Eternal Soul, a copy of a Magician Souls, Dogmatica Maximus, Illusion of Chaos, and a copy of Soul Servants. It's actually a really interesting hand. You really don't want to draw into Maximus, you want to draw into Nadir, but that's totally fine. So what we're going to do is go ahead and reveal our copy of Illusion of Chaos to be able to instantly grab a copy of Magician's Rod, which is the best normal summon in the entire deck to be able to grab, so we can keep going in for our plays. So we're going to go ahead and grab Magician's Rod directly from our deck to our hand, and once we do, we have to put a card back. So I'm actually going to put a copy of Maximus back, so we can keep the copy of Illusion of Chaos, so we can keep going in for our plays. We could put a copy of Eternal Soul back, but I really want to set it to my side of the field so I can basically just keep going. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to go ahead and normal summon out the copy of Rod, so we can shuffle up the deck. And once we do, we're going to go ahead and add from our deck to our hand an additional copy of a Dark Magician card. So I'm going to actually add Secrets of Dark Magic. Secrets of Dark Magic is great to be able to grab here, so we can keep going in for plays like our copy of the Dark Magicians, or go into other fusion plays, which is just really, really nice. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and special summon out our copy of the Magician Souls by sending a copy of Dark Magician from our deck to the graveyard. We're going to instantly summon out Magician Souls to our side of the field. And now we do have a Dark Magician in the graveyard, so we can activate our copy of Soul Servant to be able to put a card on top of the deck. So I'm actually going to grab the copy of Dark Magical Circle, so we can basically keep going in for our plays and be able to banish a card during the opponent's turn. So at this point, what we're going to do is banish our copy of Soul Servant from the graveyard to get us a draw, and we already know what's on top of the deck, so we're actually going to grab our copy of Dark Magical Circle. We're going to shuffle up the deck since we didn't shuffle it before, and we're going to go ahead and activate our copy of Dark Magical Circle. So once we activate our copy of Dark Magical Circle, we're going to look at the top three cards and either grab a spell or trap that specifically lists Dark Magician, or a copy of Dark Magician to our hand. So we're going to reveal a copy of Magician's Salvation, Infinite Impermanence, and a Lordy Load, which is actually pretty cool because we can actually grab that Lordy Load as well. So we're going to go ahead and activate or add our copy of Magician's Salvation, and basically we get to put back the cards in any order. So we're going to put them back like this. So once we put them back like that, we can actually use the effect of Magician Souls to be able to send Magician's Salvation to the graveyard from our hand to be able to get a draw. I don't want to send Eternal Soul because I can get a banish, and I can also use this to be able to go in for a fusion play. So we're going to go ahead and grab our copy of Lordy Load, and once we grab our copy of Lordy Load, we're going to go ahead and activate it to be able to grab from our deck to our hand a different card. So you can grab Roar here, but Roar has the ability to pay 2,000 life points, declare a normal monster's name, and the declared normal monster and Primite cards you control cannot be destroyed battle until the end of the turn. Then if you control no monsters, you can special summon one of the monsters that are declared, but since we control monsters, it's not really great here. We can also grab Drill Beam, which is another card that you could potentially grab, which is a negate and a banish, and let you reveal a Primite or a normal monster in your hand, except another copy of Drill Beam, or if you control a normal monster or a level 5 or higher Primite monster, except a token, you can actually activate it without even revealing a card. So what we're going to do is actually add our copy of Drill Beam from our deck to our hand, because we do control monsters already. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle up the deck, and once we do, we're actually going to set this card to our side of the field, and then we're going to set our copy of Eternal Soul and our copy of Secrets of Dark Magic. So once we get all of these cards set to our side of the field, our hand consists of a single copy of Illusion of Chaos. And we can go for a link play if you want to as well, just to get an additional monster out on the field. You can go for an SP Little Knight. You could even turn one of them into an Artemis and then go for an SP if you want to banish something off the field and get a copy of SP on the field as well. You can go for IP. There's just a bunch of different plays you can actually go for, but I'm actually going to turn the copy of Magician's Rod into a copy of Artemis. And that's just going to basically be able to tribute to bring back our copy of Magician's Rod if a spell or trap is activated and just add it back to our hand. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and pass over to the opponent because we didn't lock ourselves out of the extra because we didn't use Maximus. And once we pass over to the opponent, we can actually use some really cool abilities to be able to actually flip our copy of Eternal Soul on our side of the field. And once we do, we can actually bring back the Dark Magician and use it as a banish on our side of the field, which is great to be able to just instantly banish an opponent's card. And since the spell or trap is activated, we can actually tribute our copy of Artemis to be able to add the copy of Magician's Rod back to our hand, which is great. We also have the Primite Drill Beam. Since we control a normal monster, we can banish or we can negate and banish a card on the field, basically turning Dark Magician into a negate, which is kind of cool about this card. And we have the copy of the Secrets of Dark Magic to fusion summon, so we can actually use both of these on our side of the field to step into a copy of Dark Magician. The Dark Magicians, which is great to instantly go in for that play and get it out on your side of the field. So if any spell or trap is activated, we get to draw a card, which is going to be an Ash Blossom, giving us an additional negate, which is really, really cool. If your opponent activates any spell or trap card, you can use this card's effect. And then on the follow-up, we're just going to keep using our copy of Eternal Soul to be able to bring back our copy of Dark Magician to keep getting banishes, which is really, really nice. And we also will get a draw for the turn as well, which is going to be a copy of Primite Roar. So you can basically just keep going in your plays and get an insane board. So let's go into the next test hand, guys. That pretty much showed how powerful the Primite engine is, and I really like that about the deck, that you can either use it to be able to get Dark Magician out on your side of the field, or use it as a banish, which is really nice as well. You can also use it to be able to grab a copy. You can also use Lordy Load as well, which is really nice to be able to use to get out your copy of your Primite Dragon. Because when it's activated, you can add any Primite card from your deck to your hand, so you technically could get a copy of Dragoons in your deck, or out of your deck to on your side of the field as well with that play, because you do have a Dragon effect monster. But you can use Lordy Load to actually search out this card, which is a dragon monster, but I felt like Drill Beam was just better because it's a negate and a banish. So you can actually get this card as well, which is a dragon monster. I only play one of it in my build, and I really only think you need one of it because it's an okay card, but it's still searchable, so you can basically have a dragon monster to step into your copy of Dragoon. So let's go ahead and shuffle up the deck again and see what we can do for our next test hand and see if we can pull off. See if we can actually summon out like a Winda to our side of the field, because you can summon out Winda in this deck. So let's give the deck a quick shuffle and see what we can do for our next one. So we're going to go ahead and draw. We're going to draw a copy of Secrets of Dark Magic, Maximus again, a copy of Dark Magician Girl, Dark Magician, and a copy of Lordy Load. So it's actually a really weird hand. It's actually really a weird hand. Okay. So we can go into the Dark Magicians as well, and we can actually step into Dragoon, which is pretty neat. So we're going to go ahead and activate Lordy Load. And once we go ahead and activate Lordy Load, it's actually really weird to draw both of these, but we're going to activate Lordy Load, and once we do, we're going to grab a copy of Roar from our deck to our hand. So even in the bad hands, you still can actually play, which is really nice. We're going to activate our copy of Primite Roar, and this is actually where I play a really spicy tech card in here that a lot of players don't play in Primite, but I really like it for the Dark Magician build. So I'm actually going to declare Red Eyes Black Dragon. So we're going to summon out our copy of Red Eyes Black Dragon to our side of the field, which is just going to basically instantly get us a copy of a dragon monster on our side of the field. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and activate Lordy Load, and that's going to lock us out of using any special summon monster effect for the rest of the turn, and we're going to go ahead and declare Dark Magician. So this card is going to let us instantly get our copy of the Dark Magician out on our side of the field as well, and we have the copy of Secrets of Dark Magic, so we can basically just set this card out to our side of the field, and during the opponent's draw phase, we can go ahead and activate it, so we can have the ability to instantly go in for a copy of our Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. So once the opponent goes, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and draw a phase. We're going to activate the copy of Secrets of Dark Magic, and we're going to use the Red Eyes on the field and the Dark Magician in our hands. We can just keep an additional monster on our side of the field to step into a copy of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon during the beginning of the opponent's turn. Since this is a quick play spell, we can do that. And now, at this point, we're going to let our opponent do whatever they want, but we do have a negate in our hands. We can discard Dark Magician Girl to be able to instantly be able to negate a card and boost it by 1,000. Plus, this card is a burn card as well, because we're going to be able to pop 2 cards on the field since we used vanillas and do burn damage to the opponents. This card can end the game on its own. So even with that okay hand where we drew a bunch of vanillas and bricks, we still were able to play. So once our opponent lets us go back to us, we're going to go ahead and draw into a copy of Magician's Souls. We can instantly special summon it out to our side of the field by sending our copy of the Dark Magician from our deck to the graveyard. So we're going to instantly get our copy of Dark Magician in the graveyard, and once we do, we're going to be able to shuffle up the deck and use the effect of our Magician Souls to be able to send Lordy Load to the graveyard, plus we're protected by a negate, and we're going to be able to get an additional draw, which is another copy of Magician Souls. And now we're going to just normal summon out this copy of Magician Souls, and we can actually go in for a really cool link play using all of these monsters on our side of the field. We can actually use one of these first to be able to step into a copy of our, where is it? Where's Artemis? You can step into Artemis, and then you can actually use all of these on your side of the field, because they all have different names, to be able to step into our copy of the Blackluster Soldier link, which is great to get it on your side of the field, because now, since we use a level 7 or higher monster, it can't be basically destroyed. And for the rest of the turn, this card has the effect that you can banish a Fusion, Synchro, Exe, or Link monster from the graveyard to special summon this card from your hand. And during your main phase, you can activate this effect to send 2 monsters with different names from your extract to the graveyard. Also, your opponent sends 2 monsters from their extract to the graveyard, and you can't special summon the extract for the rest of the turn. So we're going to basically just banish our copy of Artemis, now that we got it in the graveyard, summon out our copy of Maximus, and use its effect to be able to send from our deck to the graveyard a copy of Garua and our copy of Elder Entityist to be able to pop a card and draw a card and rip 2 cards out of our opponent's extract. So we're going to get an additional draw of the copy of Garua, and we're going to draw into a copy of Servant. That's actually terrible to draw into Servant, but it's okay, because we have this really cool board, and we can use the effect of Dragoon with our copy of Servant, which is pretty cool to be able to instantly use that to basically just stop our opponent in their tracks. Plus we have BLS, which is massive, and it's basically can't be destroyed. We have Dragoon, and we have Maximus that can swing in this basically game, because it's going to pop 2 monsters, and we're going to basically go in for a 3k and a 15, and we have a negate with this if we need it. So it's an okay field. It's actually really powerful. And that's what's really cool about this deck, is you can even draw into vanillas. Like, you can draw into Red Eyes, Dark Magician, and her copy of Dark Magician Girl, and you can still play. Like, you can still play, which is insane. Just making sure I didn't shuffle any of the cards in. But again, if you guys want to check out the deck profile, it's down in the description down below. And it's really fun. So let's go ahead and see what we can do for our next one. We even summoned Blackluster Soldier. Like, that's really cool. That's actually really, really cool. So definitely give the video a like, and definitely subscribe, because we're on the road to 100k subscribers. So let's go ahead and shovel it up again and see what we can do for our last test hand. Let's see if we can get some insane plays. We haven't summoned Winda yet, but that's okay. We could have summoned Winda in the previous hand if we would just had another card to discard. So let's go ahead and shuffle it up and see what we can do. Plus the Dragoon was at 4,000 because we did discard the copy of Dark Magician Girl as well. So we're going to go ahead and draw into a copy of Soul Servant, a copy of Magician's Rod, a copy of Magician's Souls, Imperm, and Dark Magician. Okay, it looks like we're going pure Dark Magician with this hand, and that's totally fine. So let's go ahead and see what we can do for this first, or the last one. We're going to go ahead and normal summon out our copy of Rod. Rod's going to instantly give us a search, plus we can go ahead and use this to place any card we want from the top of our deck. And that is Dark Magician, or specifically Dark Magician in its text. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use Magician's Rod to instantly get to a copy of our, let's see what we want to get. Let's go ahead and get Magician's Salvation, just to kind of thin the deck a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and get Magician's Salvation. Once we do, we're going to go ahead and activate it just to get an additional copy of our card on our side of the field, which we're going to go ahead and grab out a copy of, where is it? We're going to get a draw. We're going to go ahead and grab Eternal Soul. Eternal Soul is really good because it has the ability, if this face up card leaves the field, you destroy everything, but if it's face down, it doesn't do anything. So we're going to go ahead and set this card to our side of the field, use the effect of Dark Magicians, or Magician Souls, to send a card from our deck to the graveyard, which actually you'd send it first, and then you get to special summon. So we're going to send our copy of Dark Magician Girl to get us a double draw, which is going to be really cool. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle it up, and once we do, we're going to go ahead and put this card out on our side of the field. And now we can activate Soul Servant if we want to place the exact card we want on our side of the field, and then draw into it using our copy of Soul Servant or Magician Souls, or we can send both of these to the graveyard, or you can just leave the field like this if you want to be able to get a copy of Dark Magician on your side of the field on the follow-up by getting it in the graveyard, which is really cool to be able to do. So what we're going to do with this particular hand is we're going to basically just activate our copy of Magician Souls to be able to get a double draw, because I feel like it's better to get the double draw here, because it's going to be really nice just to dig into the deck to either draw into Deer or draw into our Lordy Load, which is another option to be able to get us a copy of Drill Beam, which is going to be really nice. So we're going to go ahead and use the effect. We're going to shuffle up the deck really quick just to make sure it's completely random on what we get. We're going to go ahead and shuffle it up. And let's get our double draw of Magician Souls. So we're going to draw a Maximus and another Magician Souls. We keep drawing into you. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and activate our copy of Soul Servant and place a card on top of our deck. That is Dark Magician or specific listed to get our copy of Secret to Dark Magic from our deck. And we're going to go ahead and banish it. Since we do have our copy in the graveyard of Dark Magician Girl, we can go ahead and draw, which is a copy of our Secret to Dark Magic. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and link away our copy of our Magician Souls. This is actually a really interesting play. So we're going to go ahead and make a copy of Artemis. Now once we do, we're going to go ahead and activate our copy of Secret to Dark Magic to be able to fuse both of these away, and we're going to step into our copy of the Dark Magicians. Now, once we step into Dark Magicians, we can actually bring out our copy of Maximus, which is really nice because we can banish from our graveyard our copy of Artemis, and once we do that, we can go ahead and use the effect of our Maximus to be able to send to the graveyard a Puckalone and another card, which again, I like to send Dark Magician to Dragon Knight. You can send anything you want to, but I like to send this if I'm not going to summon it, because it's like, out of all of them, I want to summon either the copy of the Dark Magicians or Dragoon. So I just play this just in case I have a bunch of back row in the field and to send to Graveyard, because you can send Elder and Nist on the follow-up, or you can just send Garua. Garua's probably better here since we didn't already send Garua, so we can get an additional draw. So we're going to go ahead and send these to the Graveyard, and we're going to go ahead and activate a Puckalone as Chainlink 2 and Garua as Chainlink 1. So we're going to basically get our copy of Schism so we don't draw into it. So we have a target. And we're going to go ahead and add from our deck to our hand our copy of Schism. See, we would have drawn into that if we didn't activate it that way. So we're going to go ahead and add it to our hand. And once we add it to our hand, we're going to go ahead and discard to the graveyard our copy of Magician Souls, because we really don't need it with the rest of this hand. It's totally fine. And what we're going to do at this point is we're going to go ahead and basically use the Garua to be able to get an additional draw. So we're going to shuffle it up and use our Garua to draw, which is going to be an Illusion of Chaos. So we can then use Illusion of Chaos, which I don't believe we've... Actually, let's just hold the Illusion of Chaos because we've already gotten all of our other stuff. And at this point, we basically just set these to our side of the field. We're locked out of the extract for the rest of the turn, but we still have some pretty insane plays that we have on the field, because we can actually step in a window during the opponent's turn and get a draw off the effect of our Dark Magician. The reason I'm not going in for the Illusion of Chaos as well is because I'll put it on top of the deck, and I won't have a normal summon, or I have a normal summon in my hand, and I really don't need that. I don't want to draw into this. I want to be able to keep it random on what I'm going to draw. So what we're going to do is pass over the opponent, and what we're going to do is we have the Imperm to be able to negate. We have the Schism, so we can use the Schism to be able to instantly use the effect of our Schism to be able to step into a copy of Winda. We'll also get the draw off of this. So we're going to be able to summon out Winda, and we get the draw, so we're going to draw, and we have another Illusion of Chaos. I didn't want to draw into an Illusion of, that's why I didn't activate it. And then we're going to use the effect of Imperm to be able to negate something as well. And then on the follow-up, we're going to be able to draw into what? An Illusion of Chaos? We're going to draw into Primite Roar. Okay, so that's fine. We can use this, reveal it in our hand, and we're going to go ahead and add our copy of Rod to our hand, place this back on top of the deck. Normal summon out our copy of Rod. Rod will go off, and keep in mind this is on the follow-up. We're going to go ahead and add from our deck to our hand another Dark Magician card, which I'm going to add the Dark Magical Circle. And we're going to activate Circle to be able to reveal the top three. So we're going to reveal Dark Magician, Soul Servant, Nadir. We're going to grab Soul Servant to our hand. We're going to place these back on top of the deck, which is going to be really cool to instantly get those cards. We're going to activate our copy of Soul Servant. And now, since we have Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl in the graveyard, we will get a draw too. And plus we have the Dark Magicians, so we're going to get a draw of Dark Magicians, and we're going to be able to place the card we want on top of the deck. So we basically just get a free draw too, and you get all this insane stuff. So you have so much follow-up. That's what's insane. Like, you just have so much follow-up with this. It's just insane. So I think that's pretty much going to show for you guys how you play this deck. It's so cool to be able to play. Like, there's just so much follow-up, and you only get one special summon as well, and the opponent's only getting one special summon. So you basically have a draw, a special summon. You can send a dark monster, and you have the negate here. So there's so many plays here, and then the Dark Magical Circle, when you summon out a Dark Magician, is going to basically give you more plays, which is insane. So I think that's pretty much going to show for you guys how to exactly play this deck, and it's just so fun to be able to play Primite and Dark Magician, as you guys can see. And it just has so much follow-up to keep going and going and going, and that's what's really, really nice, is this deck is just so fun and so insane. If you guys again would like to check out the deck profile, as always, for every test hand video is down in the description down below, and this deck is so fun to be able to play. It might look like there's a lot of vanillas in it, but you kind of have to play the vanillas for the Lordy Low and the copy of Roar for the Primite engine, but it's just absolutely amazing to be able to play. So, that's going to be this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys!